I had the privilege of meeting a wonderful minister that had worked for God for some 3-4 years. I met him in a Muslim country. He was on his way out of his own country and going to a new place as a refugee. His name is Syed. Syed came to me one day when I was preaching in a Seventh-day Adventist church in a particular city in this Muslim country. Syed came looking for a place of refuge, a place where he can come and worship God. He had heard about the Seventh-day Adventist church, but he had never attended the Seventh-day Adventist church. He had become a Christian in his own country, and he had served Christ. He had planted 3 churches in his country, but he had to flee and came out, and this is how we met. At the end of my sermon, towards the middle of my sermon, I realized that Syed was crying. He was weeping very hard, and I was talking about Jesus and the cross, and that had clearly touched his heart. At the end of the sermon, he came over to me, and we began to talk, and he introduced himself to me and wanted to speak to me privately. He was concerned that some people may be spies, and rightly so. In the country that we worked, we had that problem, and we always faced this challenge that one day we may have a spy amongst us. Well, Syed privately told me about his plight and how he had left his country and come to this country and is seeking refuge. And he told me, and I asked him how he found our church, and he told me he didn't know. He was looking for our church, but he didn't know where the church was. And as on that Sabbath morning, as he was looking for our church, a man comes to him and he asks him, this man, where is the Seventh-day Adventist church? And the man points out to this building and tells him where we are. But friends, the location that we were at was a brand new location. Nobody really knew where we were at. No one that was not a Seventh-day Adventist. And we had to be careful about our location so that we don't give away a lot of information and put the members at risk. Anyways, Syed told me a wonderful story about how he had to flee his country and how he was persecuted for Christ, how he was beaten and most of his ribs were broken and he lost teeth and he was beaten so horribly for his faith. But the amazing thing is that he said as they beat him, he felt no pain. He felt as if the hand of Jesus was over him, and every time he received a blow, though he could hear his ribs break, he felt absolute no pain. Within a matter of some months, his persecutors, who at the time he was taken into prison, began to see in him a man that they had never seen before. He never complained. He never uttered a cry, though he was under most cruel, severe torture. Others would have long since given up and surrendered themselves to their captives. But here, Syed uttered no words of complaint, no cries. There was peace on him continuously, and this made his captors wonder who this man is. Toward the end of his captivity, which later on they released him just so they can follow him and find a lead and then maybe arrest his church members as well. Before they released him, the day that they were going to release him, he said that the captors brought him, and this is not customary, they took his blindfold off so he can see his captors. And they looked at each other face to face. And the man told Syed, I have never met anyone like you. There is something special about you, and I respect you very much. Here, the people that beat him and tortured him, now because of his witness, silent witness, understood the love of Christ a little better. Syed was freed, and then soon after that he was able to escape and come to this other country, and we were able to work together, and he and his family began to serve the Lord. Today, Syed is serving in another country that I cannot tell you where, and now he himself has started a church, and just a couple of weeks ago they baptized 6 people. God works with everyone. God can save us in the most difficult circumstances. God is able to save everyone where they are at. We can reach people for Christ. We don't need to be eloquent. We don't need to be artistic or have many varied gifts. What we need to have is a willing heart and go out, and Jesus will use us. And we can reach the lost for Christ in relatively a quick time, a short time. We're able to do it, friends, because Jesus is our strength.